So I'm going to talk about putting theory into practice. Sherry asked me to come and just talk about some different behavior things that I've done. Hopefully you'll, during this session, reflect on your classroom behavior management. I know we all do some, and we've come to several of these, but sometimes if you're like me, you learn something and then you go to a session or you go to ITHE or something and you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. So I'm hoping that maybe this might spark just a little bit like, oh yeah, I learned that before, but I kind of forgot about it, or that might be a good idea. Hopefully that if there's anything that I have on here, I use Microsoft Publisher, so if anybody uses that, I could send it PDF, but then you can't change it to how you could use it. But if you use Publisher, I can send it to you if there's something that you like. I'm willing to share whatever I have. Okay, so we're going to talk about providing expectations and doing some pre-teaching and making students responsible for their own actions and trying to make them more independent in the classroom. So setting up expectations. I don't know about you guys, but the first 2 days of school, we spent a lot of time setting up expectations, talking about what the students' expectations are, and these are just some pictures I've taken of, this is actually from a while ago from our intermediate classroom. They had a stop sign, and then it says where each student should go when they come back from lunch, so they're not, well, do I have science or do I have social studies? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? So when they come in, they had the stop sign so they could see, oh, so-and-so goes to social studies, and these guys are going to science, and this person's going to that table. So they're already knowing what to do when they come in, and that way that kind of reduces a little bit of the craziness that goes on. These were just their be responsible, be respectful, be safe, and they added be a good friend. Clearly at that point they must have been having some issues with being good friends, so they added that to kind of their PBIS, their 3 R's there. This is something I've done in the past, is we created a classroom constitution. So the first week or the first couple days of school we would talk about what it means to be a good student, what they can do to be respectful to each other, respectful in the classroom, be safe. And so I'll just read this to you really quick. This is what they came up. It says, we the students at Nathan Hale Middle School do agree on this 20th day of August that we will respect others by being supportive, being friendly, being helpful, and accepting our differences and opinions. We will be safe by keeping our space clean and keeping our hands and feet to ourselves. We will be responsible by being prepared for class and completing all assignments. We will stay healthy by going to bed on time, washing our hands, eating breakfast, exercising, and eating healthy foods. We will be involved in school by participating in class, paying attention to others, signing for ourselves, and being ready to learn. We will remember all classroom expectations while on the bus, on field trips, at lunch, at assemblies, and all other times we are not in the classroom. So then I kind of ripped it up and distressed it so it looked like an old piece of paper, and then they all signed it. So not only did we just say we'll respect others, but we really specified what does that mean. This is another one that we did because in the classroom we have responsibilities as well as that the students have responsibilities, and there's some that kind of go for both of us. So we had a Venn diagram and we just had the students list what are their responsibilities, what are our responsibilities as teachers, and what are both of our responsibilities. I've also done this with a cutout of a teacher. I have a Cricut, I like to scrapbook, so I had a cutout of a student and a cutout of a teacher, and then we listed that underneath there what our expectations of the teachers, because I think it's important for them to know that we are responsible for things in the classroom as well. This is another, just setting up that responsibility and expectations before we do something. They always say that you can't teach a behavior while it's happening, so we like to pre-teach them before we do something. So this is, I was working with some students going out in the community, and we were looking at different kinds of jobs that are out there, and so I broke it down to each part. So before we went on this field trip, we talked about what did we need to do in school before we left. We needed to get our IDs, we needed to have our calculators, we needed to get our coats, all of those things. What kind of responsibilities do they have on the bus, put on their seatbelts, stay in their seats, and so forth. Then we went to a flower shop, and what were the expectations there? Not to touch things, watch the interpreter. So we broke it down into each piece, and then when we came back to school, we would look at this and say, did we do these things? What things did we do well? What things, not necessarily did we do bad, but what things did we need to maybe improve on? So when I was doing a lot of community things, I like to come back and say, what were some things that we did that were really good? And what were some things that we maybe needed some help on? We just did Friday, we had a walkathon, and so if our students earned a certain amount of money for our walkathon, they earned a Halloween party, but we actually did it on Friday. And since they're in middle school, we don't celebrate Halloween, but we did like a fall fest. So we did like minute to win it games. We did just some easy cooking things. We had walking tacos for lunch. We did some fun things. But we had the student who, when we split up teams and they picked teams, was like, you know, all mad because they're on so-and-so's team, they don't want to be. So then the next morning, one of the other teachers that I work with, she sat down and said, okay, what things did we do good yesterday? What things do we need to improve on? So I thought that was a really nice way to look back at the expectations and the responsibilities of them during that kind of unstructured time, which for a lot of the students in my class is a really hard time to try and have unstructured time. Even though they like it and it's fun, it's not always so fun for us. This was just another idea that I did when I was teaching in the intermediate school. And so these were, I think, like from Crystal Light or something. I think those little things, and I covered it. And they had just these little sticks, and I would keep them at the board. And then when they did them, you know, turn in your homework. There's one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Turn in your homework, get ready for home, eat your breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And then when they would do them, they would physically have to move it, because if I gave them a lot of times a check sheet, it was like, check, check, check. I'm like, well, where are your FMs? Did you eat your breakfast? No. Well, why'd you put the check? They weren't making that connection. So when they physically had to move something, I found that that was more successful. This is kind of the same thing. This is probably where I started, or this might have been with the older kids, but it was just morning and afternoon responsibilities on a checklist. This is to use during class. So I would always find that, you know, I'd be trying to write something on the board, I'd be switching the PowerPoint, I would just be getting a paper, and then it was like free time to talk. So I had these on my board with magnets. I think I have them. And basically that just kind of gave them a visual cue as to what they needed to do. So they had magnets on them, and then, you know, red means that the teacher's talking, or you have a test and a quiz. You're not to talk to your friends. If you need help, raise your hand. Green is kind of maybe a transition time, or, you know, I'm getting some papers together. They're on green, they can talk, but they have to stay in their seats. And yellow, you know, you're going to respond to questions. Red I usually put up if we were having a test, and I didn't want them to talk to each other because for some reason it doesn't really matter when we have a test. They feel like they should talk about, you know, who's friends with who on Facebook and whatnot. So that was just kind of a expectations and some kind of visual cue. This is, I have this now, this is my classroom calendar. It's just from like Walmart or whatever, and it hangs up. This is like my savior, because at home, if I don't have it on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So sometimes if it's not on this calendar, it doesn't exist to me either. But the kids are really like, you didn't move today, it's November, you have to change it. So I try to keep everything that's going on up here. We do some block scheduling just in our program. And so I have like a red day and a gold day on here, so the kids can see what day it is and what's upcoming. I love the calendar. I also used to have one, I had a student who, if the schedule changed, she was just thrown off, and it was constantly like, no speech today, no speech today, no speech today. So I had, I should have brought it, I had a magnet board, like just a white one, a whiteboard, and then in the back my dad cut like 2 pieces of wood so it could stand up on my table, and then I had her schedule for the day on there, and that way she would know, like, Tuesday that there wasn't going to be any speech on Thursday, because let me tell you, when the speech pathology had a meeting, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Because all day that was our focus. No speech, no speech, no speech, no social work, you know, or if I was going to a meeting, it would throw the whole day off. So I like to have the calendar. I like to have them know if I'm not going to be there, if I have a meeting or something like that. So I feel like this is good for all of us, not just them, but good for me too. I'm going to just go back here. I also right now, I don't know about you guys, but it takes me kind of a while to figure out what might work for a student. I have to do something a couple times. So I have a student who, I won't say, because from the last presentation, I won't say he always asks questions, but he asks many questions throughout the day. And one of them would be, after lunch, do I have math next? I'm not his math teacher. Well, yeah, we have math next. No, I have speech. Mrs. Gross is coming and I have speech. I don't have math. Well, then why are you asking me? Because you already know the answer. So I took, this is just like a little piece of metal. It's from like Home Depot or something. And then I have his schedule. I took a picture with the iPad today so that he could have it on the iPad. But, because I think it might throw him off that I had it today. So then I change it for the day. I change if it's a red day or a gold day. The days that it's something different, like if he has speech or social work, they're red, and as opposed to like what we have during the day, which are blue. So then he can see, oh, this is something different. This is not a regular class. I have social work, I have speech, I have vision, we have an assembly, something like that. So he can carry this with him. And then he also has a little thing made out of the same material for asking questions that don't relate to what we're doing. And so we keep track of that to try and limit that, because otherwise, I don't know, it won't be good. Oh, yeah, sure. So I started with Velcro, and it didn't work out. It was on a file folder. It just got ripped up, torn up. So finally I'm like, well, let's take that. I was able to punch holes in it because it's not that thick. My husband cut it and then just kind of sanded down the sides so it's not sharp. And so far so good. And then I just keep this in there, or I'll keep it like on a thing, and then it has all the things that we can switch out. So far that's working as far as the scheduling. The questions is still a work in progress, so I don't know if we'll have to revamp that, but that kind of goes to me like with the calendar and the schedule, so I want to throw that in there. Also setting expectations with an outline for the day. Today in class we're going to do this. I have just a little magnetic whiteboard next to my big board, and I try and put, like today in science we're doing this, this, and this, just to set up what we're doing in class. And kind of to keep me on track as to what we're going to do. But, you know, if I don't erase it, then they're like, we finished that, you need to erase it, we're moving on. So they kind of like that, and all the teachers that I work with in our class do that. So that's kind of a nice way to keep them kind of on task and knowing what's coming next. We also do a check-in, check-out, and I've done lots of different versions of that. That's kind of like the little popsicle sticks that I had. But this one was just more for when I was in the intermediate. Hang up your coat and backpack, turn in your homework, give me any notes from home, put on your FM, and get your breakfast and eat. This one is a little bit more involved. Actually, right now I'm not using this one. I'm using, oops, let me go back. Oh, I must not have been able to get that one on there. But it is a little bit shorter. It only has a couple things. There's only 4 things for the morning and 3 for the afternoon. And the majority of our students are using it because they don't turn in their homework. They sit down for class, they don't have an FM, they're not ready for class. So in the morning it's, did you finish your homework? Did you turn it in? Do you have your FM on? And are you ready to have your materials for class? So what we'll do is we'll just circle, or they'll circle, but we will initial, because we were finding that they were like 1, 1, 1, 1, and then, but wait, you didn't do your homework, so why do you have a 1? So if they want to circle it, that's fine, but it has to have a teacher initial next to it in order for it to count. And then on the bottom, it's, did you take off your FM? Do you have your homework written in your assignment book so they actually have to show it? I have this, this, and this. And then do you have everything you need for home? And for our school, we're the Nathan Hale Panthers, so they have Panther paws, and right now it is on a sheet and it's just paws. The whole school has it. And so then they're like little boxes and the teacher will sign it and you can earn your Panther paws that way. So if you have checked in and you have your homework complete for the whole week, you earn 10 Panther paws. Right now that's a super great motivator for us because they have a Panther paw store on Tuesdays where they can go buy pens and pencils or book covers, those kind of things. And then I'll talk a little bit later, but the school does a quarterly PBIS reward, and you usually need to have 10 or 15 Panther paws to participate in that. So this is a really good motivator for the kids, and we've had some kids say that, you know, one of the teachers said, I don't think he needs a check-in, and he's like, I want one of those papers. I want to check in, I want to check out. So for the first couple weeks, it's like, did you check in, did you check out? And now, you know, they're pretty responsible about doing it themselves. Okay, on the bottom, right here, are some different colors. And in the past, we were having issues with students having maybe some real ups and downs in their moods, coming in the morning upset. So what we did was we have like a little mood chart here. And so they can check, you know, am I very, very sad, which tells me in the morning if they're checking that, like, I really need to check in with this kid. We need to kind of one-on-one decide, figure out what's going on. Or am I very, very angry? Then again, like, that's a warning for me. First thing in the morning, I need to check in with that student and figure out what's happening. Most of the time we get a yellow, which is good. Sometimes a little sad. You might just want to be like, well, something going on. Maybe it was just something small in the bus that happened, or silly excited might be like, oh, we have a field trip. So it can kind of gauge their mood in the morning, which is really nice for like those particular students that sometimes they're way down, sometimes they're way up. The student that I was using that with in the past, I still am, she's kind of balanced out her moods. I feel like they're more under control. But I would find that she would be so upset and crying, and she could not tell me what was going on. So then I just took Boardmaker and I put, I'm feeling this way because someone said, signed, or someone said or signed something that hurt my feelings. Someone hit me, kicked me, or touched me. Something happened at home. Someone teased me. Someone ignored me or would not talk to me. I don't understand what to do in class. Something happened on the bus, or I don't know why I'm feeling this way. So at least that way, if they couldn't give it to me this way or couldn't voice it to me, they could point to it and I could be like, okay, at least I know that it was something that, you know, happened on the bus, or I know that someone said something that hurt your feelings. And then I could focus in on that and say, well, who was it? What did that person say? So that was helpful. And then what I would have, I was trying to put on here and I was having a hard time. What I would have then is, let me see if I can pull it up on here. I would have some choices for her. So this was on a folder, and then, so if she was very sad or very angry, she had some choices that she could choose from right from the get-go. So she can talk with a teacher. She can choose who does she want to talk to between any of the teachers in the classroom. She could talk with our social worker. I have a little desk that's kind of off to the side. You just need to sit and unwind and relax. Do you want to draw or color? I have like those little mosaic ones that are a little bit more for middle school with some colored pencils or some blank paper. I took the video from behaviordoctor.org, and she has those calming videos. So I would put that on the iPad. I mean, this student wasn't someone who was going to take it and whip it across the classroom. She was just more, it was more upset. So like I felt comfortable giving her the iPad and knowing that she just needed to unwind by doing that. Or our OT was working with us when the kids would take a feather in their hand and they would just take some breaths, and they didn't want the feather to blow out of their hands, but just some nice calming breaths. And so I had those things all set up on a desk for her, and she could choose what she wanted to do. Then I had this, which was helping me be able to document what was going on. So I would give the date, the time, and the location, and then I would have her just check for me the mood at the time of the intervention, what she was feeling like, and then while the time that she was kind of sitting at this table doing whatever she wanted to do, I would check in with her a couple times and see if her mood would increase, and I could kind of know maybe we could talk a little bit more because now you're not here, you're at a green, so you're a little bit sad, but maybe we can talk about it. And so I could check in with her at different times. And then I could also monitor, were there certain times of the month that were, these things were happening, or certain times during the day that maybe, these incidents were occurring. So that's what I used to document that. All right. I'm not going to go through that. This is just something I had like a sign when it come to class. Are you ready for class? Do you have the things that you need? Because I got tired of, I don't have a pencil. I don't have my book. Well, how do you come to class without a pencil? So this is just a little sign I kind of put up. I'm trying to talk my husband into making me, I saw on Pinterest, it has like with PVC piping, and it's like a little thing that'll sit down. Yeah, there you go, my negotiation. You hunt, you make this for me. Like a little thing with just those round circly things, I think, and it would hang there, and you could use it like as a, if you're trying to have this paper up here, you want to show them what it is, or to have that there. So that could just kind of be on your desk or on your table ready for them when they came. We know PBIS, so I don't want to bore you with all of that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was how we kind of change things, because we were having problems in our school as far as they would do grade level rewards when we have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So how do we figure out scheduling? If 6th grade is doing this on this day, but 8th grade's doing this, how do we figure it out? So what we did was we did our classroom Panther Paw. So this is just a sheet of paper, I think I have. It might be in that binder, but the classroom Panther Paw, and this has kind of evolved and changed as to how we use it in the classroom. But the students earn them. Now I have these stars on my board. I have 5. Did you arrive to class on time? Which isn't that hard because they're just coming from that table to this table, but sometimes it's like 5 minutes and they're still not here. But did you come to class on time? Are you prepared? Did you complete your homework? Participate in class, and then overall just good behavior as related to like our expectations for the class. So they have those 5. So in the beginning of class, I go over to the 3. Did you arrive on time? Are you prepared? Did you complete your homework? And this is for everybody. So if one person didn't do their homework, then they already lost a star. So they might not earn that Panther Paw for that day. Again, if you have someone who chronically does not do their homework, and so this class never gets a star, you might want to change that to something that would make it so that they could be successful in it. And then at the end of class, did everyone participate? Everyone raised their hands. When I said I want you guys to read with me, or I want you to work with your partner, everybody did that. And then overall, just good, respectful behavior to each other. Then they would earn a classroom paw. This year, when the students earn them, they put them up in this file thing. And when they get 15, they can pick to do our Panther Paw behavior bingo. So I have all of these. These are all kind of like positive things. Clean up your lunch table, keep your area clean, try your best, wear your correct uniform every day. And so then they'll pick one. And then once they get a bingo, this has been going on for a little while. I didn't think it was going to take this long, so I might need to revamp that a little bit. But once they get their bingo, they voted that they wanted to do a cooking activity. So that's what we'll do when they get their bingo. But that's what this is. And so that's how we're doing it now. We used to do it if you got 100 or you got 150, then you could do whatever, and we let them choose. Of course, they are like, let's go to Six Flags. Let's go here. I'm like, let's think of something that you can, let's think of something that doesn't cost that much money. And so these were some things we did in the past. In the past, I think we kind of made the mistake where we didn't necessarily have parameters set as to how they would earn a Panther Paw. So that was kind of like, If you remembered, you give one. So I like it now with the stars, and I always say, if I forget, you have to remind me, or I'll give a student, you're responsible this week. You have to check at the end of the class, did we earn all our Panther Paws? Because then it takes it off me if I forget, and then it puts it on them. So we've done it a couple different ways. That was what I was just talking about. There's my bingo. And then we do a little advertising. So like, earn your classroom Panther Paw because the next reward is playing Wii. And this is when we were just collecting the Panther Paws. Now, of course, they pick to do some cooking activity. But this is kind of to keep them motivated in the classroom, just different things I might hang up. This was when we were doing the points for the check-in, when we had it a little bit different where they could earn points, then they would get tickets, and then we do a raffle. So you wanted to get your points, you wanted to finish your homework. So this is just my kind of like advertising, keeping them motivated in the classroom. Hope I'm not like jumping around here. So how did we fund it? Some of them don't cost any money. And then we asked our supervisor just to budget that in because the school has PBIS money budgeted in, so we asked her to budget it in as well, and that has worked out pretty well. Going back here, our school now pretty much does a school-wide PBIS reward, except for Christmas time, they have different levels. But they've come up with some really cool ones. Like we've gone to the Bulls White Sox Academy. So it cost the kids like $5, and they had to have so many Panther Paws. So that was a really cool one. They just did a warrior dash outside. So if you wanted to participate with your team, it cost 15 Panther Paws. If you wanted to watch, it cost 10. They've done like staff student Olympics. They've done some pretty fun things. We go to the Megaplex in Homer Glen. So they've done some really fun ones. But we've done some fun ones in our class too. We did like Cake Boss, so we had 2 teams and they figured out what kind of cake they wanted to do, so we baked the cakes at home and then they decorated them. One did like a soccer ball or volleyball or something, and then others did like this flower, so that was really fun. We've done I'm trying to think of what else we've done. We've done just like a McFlurry from McDonald's, but I was really surprised that they picked cooking one. I mean, we got a lot of older 8th grade boys in our class, so I was surprised that that was the one they picked, but I'm all about that. So other ways to reward positive behavior, these are just postcards. So in the back, we can just write a note home and say, so-and-so had a great day, they got an A on their test and helped whoever when they were stuck. So we can send that home to parents, and those are already made, so we can just pop them in the mail. This is our very important Panther. So this means that at the end of the year, our school has a big fun fair, and you have to have Panther Paws to go. But this gives you free entrance to the fun fair, so you don't have to have those Panther Paws. If you see some qualities that you really like in a student, if you have a student that's really struggling, maybe doesn't have as many, like for us, Panther Paws or something, and then you're starting to see like, wow, they're really starting to do well, maybe you could reward them with this. Our school also does, each at grade level, they do our VIP of the week, so 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade has one. And then on Fridays, they don't have to wear their uniforms. So there's only 3 kids in the whole school that don't have to wear their uniforms on Friday if they get chosen for that. And then the way our lunch tables are set up is they have to sit by homeroom. So they have a table that's kind of, the way our lunchroom is set up, it has like tables down here and then some stairs up here, and they have a table up there, and it has a tablecloth, and it has like a little flower thing. And you get to pick 3 friends that out of any homeroom that you can sit with, so you can actually sit with your friends at lunch on Friday. So I think that's kind of a cool way to recognize good behavior. So this was before, this always is encouraging, and we know that the kids really want it. So we needed like a couple more Panther Paws, and she said, come on, we could do this, we have to work more harder and listen to the teacher so we could go rock climbing. So this was like our big end of the year thing, so we went to an indoor rock climbing facility. So that was them kind of encouraging each other, which was really nice to see. Okay, so some resources. I have 15 minutes, and I think everybody's still awake, so that's good, since Raven kind of went before me and kind of like switched the thing there, 20 minutes. But this is a really cool site. And this lady makes all of these posters, and you can download them. They're all free. So, you could print them at school, or if you wanted to print them into a poster, my friend sent them to somewhere online, or you could send them to like Office Max or something. But I love this. This is my favorite one. Don't do something permanently stupid just because you are temporarily upset. But she has a whole bunch of different posters that you can print out, or even like numbers, all this stuff that's really cutesy and it's already made, so that's definitely a plus, and it's free, so that's even better. So that's technologyrocksseriously.com. This is something that I like. I said before, we do some block scheduling just for our social studies and science and our reading, so that makes the class 86 minutes, so it is definitely a long class. So this is called, I don't know if you've seen this before maybe, but this is called a smile break. So sometimes I'll just put this on, and it's just all these really cute pictures that make you kind of relax and kind of wonder, like a bridge going over another bridge with water. This one's hard to see, but it's a horse, and he's jumping up because there's a spider. It says, soon I will give you cuddles. Someday I'll be a unicorn. This is like bananas, and they're written on, they're all hugging. It's a lady sitting with a bunch of snowmen reading the paper. Puppy in the swing. Not sure about this one, but okay. There's like a lion down here, and these people here. And he's saying, should I tell them I'm here? This is like Simba and Timon, and then this is kind of cool. I don't know if you can see, but he just has all this stuff on this desk, and it looks like a city called Shadow Art. Stone VW. That's a little strawberry cat. A three-headed something. I don't know what kind of boa constrictor or python or cobra, I think maybe. It's kind of a cool, it's like a little turtle with his head in the shell. Okay, if that's real, that's amazing, but this is a toilet paper roll. So on your handout is the website. You can go to it, and they have a bunch of different smile breaks. And when I was looking at that too, I saw that I read somewhere that there was a guy, if you search on Pinterest, he has like smile breaks or smile pictures or something. So not like you want to take the time to make your own when they're already made, but like if you just throw up a couple pictures or something. But it's just kind of nice. This one's really cute. It's the coffee beans, and then those are 2 cups of coffee with the owl. So that's kind of just something to like relax, take a little break in between. This is kind of off topic, but not for me. I have 3 students in my class out of 12 that have visual impairments. And so we use the iPad a lot, because if we take notes or something, they'll take a picture of what's on the board, and then they'll zoom it on the iPad, so then we don't have to rewrite it down. But the Vision Itinerant just showed me this, and it's called join.me. Has anyone done this before? It is amazing. So you sign up on your computer, and then you download the app on the iPad. And once you sign up on your computer and you're logged in, it'll give you a 9-digit number. So then I type in the 9-digit number on the iPad, and whatever is on my computer screen, whether it be something from the document camera, a PowerPoint, will show up on the iPad. So there's another one, but I couldn't get that one to work. But this is really cool. All the kids thought this was like the greatest thing. Like, were you just looking and then you found it? And I had to be like, no, the Vision Itinerant told me. But I set it up, I put it on there. But this is just really cool, like when I put stuff up on the board, and then they can make it bigger or smaller too. So if you have, a need for that. If you have students that have visual impairments that could benefit from this, or if you have a student that maybe just needs to kind of sit back and relax for a little while, but maybe you want to have the iPad there, I don't know. But I just wanted to share it because I thought it was so cool. Don't go to joinme.org or make sure it's join.me, because I started to sign up and then all of a sudden realized that it was like it wasn't something bad, but it was for a fundraiser. And I'm like, I'm telling the vision itinerant, why am I having to fundraise for this? And we figured out it was because it was not join.me, it was joinme.org, so you don't want to do that one.
You have to subscribe to it.
It's free. You can pay for it to get like the pro version, which is not something that I could ever foresee us in the classroom needing. It would be more for, I think it's set up more for like businesses. So like if I was somewhere and I was giving a presentation, you could watch it. Like if I had them hooked up to my computer right now, they could be watching what is going on my computer screen wherever they are.
Do you have to be hooked up to the internet for that?
You do. And then this is another one, totally like off topic, but I came across this, readworks.org. Has anybody seen this one before? This one is probably not on your handout because I added it at the end. This is also free, and I don't know why it's not going to my, oh, there it goes. So you have to sign up, but it's free, and what it does is it breaks down, different reading skills and strategies by grade level, and it'll show you a book or it'll give you a passage. So if I wanted to pick, let's say grade 2, and I wanted to work on cause and effect, so I can go there. Now it's going to give me a couple books, but these are the passages. So it'll show you what books would match with the questions. So let's say I'm going to do backpacks mean backaches. So I can click on that. I can print out the passage, and what I really like is that, oh, let me sign in, is that even though it's at second grade, I don't know if you can see it on there, it doesn't look babyish, which is sometimes the problem when you are trying to find things for students that are at a lower reading level. Hopefully this is it. So here we go. Here's just a short thing, because again, this is second grade. So this is just a short paragraph about that, and then I can print it and I can go back, and then it's going to give me a question sheet. Again, that doesn't look like it's anything different than what you might do in high school or middle school. So you can pick different passages or different skills that you would want to work on. There are many of them. And so again, I know that this doesn't necessarily go with what I'm talking about, but it kind of does, because if you are trying to teach things and the students aren't understanding them, a lot of times you'll end up with behavior. So this is like so off topic, but again, it's like something that I thought was cool that I wanted to share, so hopefully that was okay. I think that's all I have. Yeah, so if there's any questions, if there's anything like that I have up there that, like I said, you guys want in Publisher or in PDF, I'll send it to you. If you want something in Publisher that you can change it, can I put my email? Sure.